Any of you remember Johnny Carson? Anybody old enough? Okay. Many years ago, I guess, when Johnny Carson was host of The Tonight Show, he one night interviewed an 8-year-old boy. The young man was invited to appear because he had rescued 2 friends from a coal mine outside of his hometown in West Virginia. As Johnny questioned this young boy, it became apparent to him and to the audience that the young man was a Christian. So Johnny asked him if he attended Sunday school. When the boy said that he did, Johnny inquired, "And what are you learning in Sunday school?" "Last week," the boy replied, "our lesson was about when Jesus went to a wedding and turned water into wine." The audience roared. Then Johnny said, "And what did you learn from that story?" Now the young boy kind of squirmed in his chair. It was apparent that he hadn't really thought about that. But suddenly his face lit up and he said, "If you're going to have a wedding, make sure you invite Jesus." So I guess that's one interpretation of this marvelous story from the Gospel of John. Invite Jesus to your wedding in case the wine runs out. But there may be more to it than that. I think perhaps our minds and hearts are drawn to the miracle in this story, aren't they? It's easy and natural for us to focus on the miracle. 6 20 or 30-gallon jars of water become the finest wine because Jesus was God, and God is all-powerful, and so God can perform miracles. So this is a story meant to teach us that Jesus was God because he could perform miracles. Amen. You're not getting out of it that easy. Not so fast. I believe there's more to this story, for I believe that this story also lifts up and highlights the full humanity of Jesus, his humanity. How Jesus was both fully divine and also fully human. What's more universally human than enjoying a party, after all? It's interesting to note that Jesus' mother Mary plays a prominent role in the story. She's the center of the action. The opening verse says, "There was a wedding in Cana, and the mother of Jesus was there." Oh, and by the way, Jesus and his disciples had also been invited. Mary's featured. She's center stage in this story. I ask you, what's more universal? What's more relatable? What's more human than having a mother? And she and Jesus have an interesting interaction, don't they? It's not exactly smooth. Mary says, "Hey, Jesus, they've run out of wine." And Jesus replies, "Woman, what concern is that to you and me?" Now, I don't know about you and how you talked to your mother, but if my mom asked me to do something and I replied, "Woman," oh, well, the conversation wouldn't have gone any further than that. I would have never been able to tag on the rest of the sentence. It would have been the end of me right in that moment. Jesus seems to be just a little annoyed, a little put out. He's there to have a good time, not to work. But being annoyed on occasion is part of being human. As an aside to that, I've always wondered if Mary gave Jesus that mother glare. Did you ever get that? Gave him that little disapproving stare to make him change his mind. There's humanity in that, isn't there? In changing our mind. realizing a mistake and then doing what's right? Jesus sees the need and his ability to help, and he changes the water into wine. Helping is a human response, isn't it? Witness all the people who reach out and donate and do what they can when others are suffering, like with the fires in California and with our own hurricanes here. We saw it over and over again. People helping. Helping others is seeing our interconnectedness, how we are brothers and sisters, how when one hurts, we all hurt. And then notice this. Jesus doesn't even receive praise or take credit for his good deed. The bridegroom gets the credit from the chief steward. You have kept the good wine until now. Jesus doesn't jump in and say, no, it was me. It's humanity at its best to do a good deed anonymously, to do something good, not to receive praise, but simply because it's the right thing to do. My point is, we tend to focus on the miracle in this gospel story, and the miracle is an amazing thing. But I believe it was also told to lift up the fullness of the humanity of Jesus, enjoying a party, having a very human interaction with his very human mother, realizing a mistake and correcting it, responding to need without needing credit. Jesus was both fully divine and fully human, a fact that will be shown again when Jesus weeps over the death of his friend Lazarus later on in John's Gospel. Having loved deeply, Jesus grieved deeply, just like you and I. So why is it so significant that Jesus was both human and divine? What does this mean for us? For me, it makes God more approachable and relatable. Rather than seeing God as a kind of king on a throne a million miles away, Jesus' humanity brings God close. And Jesus' full humanity invites us to live into the fullness of our humanity. As J. Cormier says, in Jesus, God takes our humanity in all its complexities, joys and pains, triumphs and struggles, and shows us how to live our lives in the fullness of God's justice, peace, and love. In becoming human in Jesus, God makes our very humanness holy. That's nice. In becoming human in Jesus, God makes our very humanness holy. And that's good news for us. Christ humbled himself to share in our humanity so that we might be given a share in his divinity. Realizing what life in God means here and now. Coming to know God through our very human joys and struggles, through loves and losses. We can come to know God and the ways of God in our ordinary human lives here in this world, at a celebration with family and friends, in our relationships as imperfect as they might be, in our reaching out to help and care for one another, in doing good for good's sake and not for recognition. Jesus models all of this for us because he was both fully God and fully human. In writing about Jesus' humanity, Brother Curtis of the Society of St. John the Evangelist said this, and I'll leave you with this thought. We will go through seasons of life where we are overwhelmed and feel lost, having lost our bearings, lost our direction, lost our meaning, maybe lost our hope. The good news is in Jesus' real presence. Jesus is God, Emmanuel, God with us. And his presence is real, not imaginary, not hypothetical, but real, really connected with what it means to be fully human. His presence is real, really connected with what it means to be fully human. May Jesus' full humanity inspire us to live into the fullness of our humanity. Amen.